Hello everybody and welcome back. Today is a special day, cause we're gonna redesign another Fakemon of the region, the Firestarter Rablmix. The last time we tackled the Grass Starter Meteorap and its evolution line. I can definitely recommend checking the video out in case you haven't yet. Also, please check out the original videos about my starter Fakemon of the Jermanzburg region because I go a lot more in depth about the lore and designs there. So let's start with Rablmix. Rablmix is based on a rabbit and the Rabldinger, which is a German fairy tale creature that is often portrayed as a mix of a rabbit and other animal parts. Technically it can be a mix of any animal, but the rabbit with wings and horns is the most prominent one. And since I don't really like any of the official rabbit Pokemon we have, and it is part of the Chinese zodiac, which people believe is the inspiration for the fire starters, I just went with it. And I know we just had a Fire Rabbit starter, but I personally think the design and concept is a bit lacking. In the third episode of the Jermanzburg series, I redesigned my original concept, and while the concept and design in theory became a lot better, I wasn't 100% convinced. Don't get me wrong, I think the original design was a bit too bland, but it had such a cute and genuine smile, and for some reason I was unable to bring that to the redesign. It looked a bit static and dead inside, but I hopefully changed that in the 2022 version. Usually fire starters have either literal fire on them or flame-shaped body parts to make sure everybody understands their typing. I also did that with the cheek fur thingies, but I wanted to add a more subtle element. The dark shape on its belly is supposed to look like a volcano, and the fur around its neck like smoke or alternatively clouds that are floating over it. In case you don't know, sometimes when volcanoes erupt, thunderstorms form over it, so it's kinda based on that too. Since volcanoes are, well, kinda explosive, I wanted to create a pose that also reflects that. So it is a bit more jumpy and unbalanced. The paws are supposed to look like volcanic stones, and by raising its arms into the air it looks like rocks shooting out of the volcano. At least I hope it looks like that. I also used slightly more vibrant colors than before because I felt like the original colors were just a tiny bit too pale. Oh, also a change I made in the whole line are the eyes. In my first design they were just two little black dots, which looked cute. In my second attempt I made them a bit larger and started to shade them, and I didn't feel that anymore. I believe it was the reason why it looked kinda weird, but I realized that relatively late. So at the end of the time lapse I decided to change the eyes and gave them an actual iris and pupils. It looks 1000 times better. And there it is, the pure Firestarter Rablmix, the mixed Pokemon. If you remember the redesign of Meteorap, you know that its new pose portrays it sitting, Rablmix is jumping, and the water starter will be probably lying down. I figured that would make each member of the trio a bit more outstanding. Or out-jumping. I also slightly changed the color of the shiny. Here you can see the design evolution of Rablmix. What do you think? I hope I didn't change a lot, so I don't think I ruined anything. Next up, the middle stage, aka the awkward teenage stage. So while the Rabldinger aspects were really subtle, I now fully embraced it. My first design was, again, bland, but I don't dislike it actually. I definitely had to change stuff to make it more like a Pokemon, but I don't know, something about the proportions and the vibe just spoke to me. Then I redesigned it in 2021, and again it lost personality. The design got more depth, but that was it. Also, the way I shaded it made it look a bit unappealing in my opinion, but I really liked how the volcano patterns and the smoke fur color thing worked together. And the pose was also fine. Maybe it is just the whole phenomenon that you usually will never like something as much as the original because your heart is more connected to the original. I don't know. In the new redesign I again changed barely anything. The pose stayed mostly the same, and the design too. I only changed the flame fur on its face, simplified the wing and the fur around its neck. Also in the previous design the head looked a bit too separated from the head, if that makes sense. I tried to change that. It still does not have the personality of the original one, but I also didn't want it to come off as standoffish as in the first design. Oh, also one thing I wanted to incorporate was the fact that wallbuildings often look quite chaotic, like nothing is fitting together cause like nothing is indeed fitting together. The last design definitely looked chaotic and like nothing is fitting, but not in a good and intended way, more like I slapped stuff on a bunny and just lived with it. I feel like the new design is working better. So that's all I have to say about the design, but I still wanna chat a bit. So 2 weeks ago was my birthday on September 23rd, and I wanna ask one question. How old do you think I am? A few weeks ago I typed with a few people and mentioned my age, and then they told me how old they thought I was. And it was like a whole 8-year span. I'm still not sure if I should feel offended or honored. I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you don't know my age, how old would you think I am? And here's the finished design of Rablmane. I just realized I didn't explain the name origins, so the beginning of the name is a fusion of Rabble and Rabbit. Rablmix incorporates mix because it's a fusion of multiple animals, and Rablmane got a mane. Since it is a more prominent feature in this design, I just went with Rablmane. Here you can see all 3 designs at once. I hope you agree that the last design is an upgrade to the other 2. If not, let me know. And lastly, the final evolution. Besides the base stage, it is the most important one, I think. The base stage is the one you choose at the beginning of the game, so it has to be appealing to the player. The middle stage doesn't have to be. I mean, it's good if the design is nice and everything, but realistically speaking, you don't have to use it for that long in the game, because you can evolve it into the final form, and that form is the one you will be using for the longest time. So that one has to be really good. No pressure, right? So from the beginning of this project, the grass and fire starter were my favorites. In fact, Doctibus, the middle stage of the grass starter, is in my top 3 Fakemon I've ever created, which is kinda unlucky since you usually evolve your starter. Anyways, the final stage of the fire starter is also incorporating elements of the Manticore, which is also a fusion creature, and a really cool one by the way. Mainly because I wanted to give it a stinger-like tail. I again changed not a lot. I mainly simplified a few shapes. There were too many and too spiky fur elements, in for example the mane and the rest of the body. I realized by slightly adjusting the fur on the front leg, I can make it look like an erupting volcano, since the whole volcano theme is a bit less present, or at least less obvious present in this stage. After all, I feel like this version of Rablruptor looks more like a believable final starter stage, even though I'm not 100% happy with the rendering. Which, you know, is the most prominent point why I wanted to redesign my older Fakemon, and I realized that the canvas size and format I am working on is a little problematic. So when I work on my side projects, like turning series into Fakemon and stuff, I work on a larger square-shaped canvas. And I think my renderings turn out better and closer to the Sugimori style. It also doesn't limit me while sketching, like, I don't know, if I feel more comfortable working on a square space. But this canvas here is not my favorite one, but I also don't want to change it, at least not for this series, because then it's gonna look a bit different in the future videos and like, I want it to be a bit consistent. For the next one, I will use something different though. Yes, I am already working on another region, while I haven't even finished this one. Maybe I am already working on it for around half a year, but like that's done in the future. And a lot more work, unfortunately, but whatever. Here's the final stage, Rablruptor. It is a fire and fairy type. When looking at official fairy types, this one may not be that obvious because 99% are really cute and pink. But I want a more cool looking fairy type. And this Fakemon is based on a fairy tale creature show, so for me that was enough to make it a fairy type. Here you can see the evolution over the 2 years. The biggest change obviously came between the beta design from 2021 and the official version from 2021, since the beta version looked nothing like a rabbit, to be honest, and more like a lion. I think I also used a lion as reference. It's pretty weird looking back to these designs. I learned a lot, but there is definitely a lot of room for improvement. I think my main issue are the poses. They are usually very safe and static because I know I can draw those. For more dynamic poses, I think I have to actively practice, and I don't really have time or motivation for that. So that's a circle I hopefully can break at one point. And colors. Colors are also my weak spot. Even though my artworks now look a bit more vibrant than a year ago, I don't think it's enough. So, am I happy with the final design of the line? I mean, I'm not unhappy with it. I feel like I have way too high expectations and compare myself to these incredible artists like Jack from Subjectively, and I want my artworks to turn out like theirs, but I don't have the routine and skills yet, and I'm kinda worried that even if I try to improve my skills, it doesn't work out the way I imagine it, which is the reason why I don't try at all. And to be honest, this is my approach to many things, which is definitely the wrong approach because it limits your own creativity and well-being. Yeah, well, this got a bit depressing, I'm sorry. What I wanted to say is just that I will try to practice more and procrastinate less. I will also try to not compare my artworks too much with other artists, at least not in a talking down on yourself way. I also will stop trying to force anything. There are just a few things that I really want to do, but then I force myself to do it and to be creative, that just pressures me, and then I'm stressed out to create something, and it usually doesn't work, which frustrates me and takes away the most important thing, the fun of drawing and creating something. It's been a while since I was just drawing for fun. I always have these expectations that it has to be something that's good enough to be posted on social media, and I really hate that mindset, and I know it's not good for me, and I try to change it. I actually started to paint Pokemon cards. I've seen it on TikTok, yeah, social media again, blah blah blah. But I've seen it and it looks like so much fun, and I tried out. I painted 2 cards as of right now when I'm writing or recording this, and it's been a while since I had so much fun while like just creating anything, to be honest. So that's something. I'm sorry I rambled so much. I just kind of felt the need to, I don't know, explain myself. I can't blame you if you already clicked off yet. Anyways, so here are the grass and the fire starter line. Which one do you prefer right now? I still can't decide. Probably. No, I don't know, I really don't. I really hope that after this redesign I could choose, but nope, I still can't. The next redesign will be the water starter, but I need time for that one. I started the redesign, but it's not even close of being finished. But I also started with the Route 1 month, so after I finished the starter, there may be more redesigns out frequently. So I can finally get my Instagram page rolling again. Oh, also I have a DeviantArt page. My name is CyberInk3D. Go check it out and follow if you want to see the full decks at one place. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Please tell me your opinions in the comments about the starter. Do you like it? Did you like it before? Did it change your, like, which starter you would pick? Leave a like, I don't know if I already said that. Subscribe to the channel to not miss any future videos, and see you in the comments.